today we are diving deep into 1 centimeter, an absolutely powerful short story by the renowned author Bishu Min. And let me tell you, it's a story all about that incredibly fine line between doing the right thing and, well, not, all through the eyes of a mother named Tao Ying.
So the story kicks off with this really simple sentence, but wow, it tells you almost everything you need to know about our main character. This isn't just about saving a bit of cash. No, this is a little window right into her mind, into her personal set of rules, and it perfectly sets the stage for the big moral problem that's about to unfold.
So, who is this woman, Tao Ying? Well, in this first part, we're going to get to know her. She's a cook in a factory, and she pretty much lives by her own set of rules. The story doesn't paint her as some evil villain, not at all. She's just practical, someone who's figured out how to justify bending the rules when it helps her out.
Okay, so let's break down how she thinks. On the one hand, her reasons seem kind of harmless, right? It's just a small saving for herself, it's a way to punish lazy conductors, then hey, the bus is going that way anyway. But the reality? It's a little more serious. It's becoming a habit of dishonesty, she's judging other people to make herself feel okay about her own actions, and she's basically ignoring her own responsibility. It's a very, very human way of making those small wrong things feel acceptable.
And now, we get to the moment that changes absolutely everything. Because as so many parents know, your whole world can get turned upside down when you're forced to see your own behavior reflected right back at you through your own child.
It's such a normal, everyday moment, isn't it? A kid eating a piece of melon. But for Tao Ying, it's like a bolt of lightning. She sees her son with a melon seed stuck to his face and it hits her. He's picking up her habits, the good ones and the bad ones. And she is furious, not just at him, but at seeing herself in him.
And boom, this is the big realization. It just clicks. Her son is a perfect little mirror. Everything she does, he's gonna copy. All those little compromises, the excuses, the tiny moments of dishonesty, he's soaking it all up from her.
So what does she do? She makes a huge change. From this point on, her one and only mission is to be the perfect, cultured role model for her son. In her head, the stakes are incredibly high. She absolutely cannot fail, not even once. And this super strict new rule, well, it's setting her up for a massive, massive conflict.
All right, so let's see how this brand new sense of integrity holds up when things get a little tough. We're now at the climax of the story, a very public showdown at a temple, where Tao Ying's new promises to herself are about to be tested in the most humiliating way you can imagine.
So, they're at the temple entrance, and a young guard stops them. He says her son, Xiao Ye, is just tall enough to need his own ticket. Tao Ying is absolutely certain he's wrong, but as they start to argue, a crowd starts to gather around them like, as the story says, fishes swarming towards a bright light. You can just feel the pressure building.
But the guard isn't backing down. Tao Ying has her ticket, sure, but this whole thing is about her son's ticket. She is 100% sure she's right, and the guard is just as sure that he is. The whole thing becomes this big, public scene.
And it all comes down to this. 1 centimetre, that tiny little space between being right and being wrong. The entire story really hinges on this incredibly small measurement, which just goes to show you how huge moral problems can explode from the tiniest little things.
Feeling totally confident, almost smug, that she's about to be proven right, Tao Ying agrees to let the guard measure her son. She even thinks it'll be a fun little event for him. The guard measures Xiao Ye against the line, and he's just over. And in that 1 second, her certainty, her perfect example, her reputation in front of all these people, it all comes crashing down. And in that moment of complete shock and public shame, she just snaps. She hits her son on the head. And the story uses this incredible description for the sound. It's not just a slap, it's the sound of something breaking. Her composure, her son's trust, her entire mission to be the perfect mother, gone. So the confrontation at the temple might be over, but oh boy, the real damage has only just begun. Let's move on and see how this one single moment completely unravels Tao Ying's life and her relationship with her son. So what does she do next? She grabs her son and she runs, just flees. But why? Because buying the ticket now isn't about the money, not at all. It's about having to admit that she was wrong. In her panicked mind, admitting she was wrong would be like screaming, "I'm a hypocrite," right in her son's face, destroying the very thing she hid him to protect. And this is the devastating result.
Her son, who was just publicly measured, proven wrong, and then hit by his own mother, he screams this at her. The foundation of trust in being a good example that she was trying so hard to build, it's been completely shattered by her own actions.
This line from the story is just so powerful. The measuring tape, this object of pure, simple truth, becomes a symbol of her guilt and how much she hates herself in that moment. It's the truth she can't get away from. That 1 centimeter that proved her wrong and made her betray everything she'd just promised herself she'd be. And the fallout is just catastrophic. Her son just shuts down. He becomes silent and withdrawn. Her work really suffers. She starts burning the cakes that she was once so good at making. And she becomes obsessed, secretly measuring her son while he's sleeping, just desperately hoping to find that 1 centimeter that would prove she was right all along.
This brings us to the last section of the story. Tao Yang is completely consumed by guilt, but she just can't bring herself to admit she made a mistake, so she goes to this extraordinary length to try and get back her authority and her son's trust.
She just can't let it go, so she does something really desperate. She actually tracks down officials from the temple and invites them over to her house. And her goal isn't to apologize or to explain herself, it's to get an official ruling in her favor, right there in front of her son.
Just listen to what she's asking. She's not asking them to help her say she's sorry. She's asking these total strangers to tell her son that his mother has not done anything wrong. She's looking for someone to tell her she was right, not for a way to make things right. It just shows how trapped she is by her own pride.
And the story just leaves us there with that desperate plea hanging in the air. This whole thing is about so much more than a ticket or a centimeter. It's about that huge gap between the person we want to be and the person we actually are, and the devastating price we pay when we choose pride over honesty, especially with the people who look up to us the most.